Hi, everyone. This is Brittany from Restaurant Systems Pro. Let's go ahead and wait a couple more minutes, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, we're going to be going over daily paperwork. I'm actually going to pull up the calendar. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over the labor systems. Thursday and Friday, we'll be going over the food, beverage, and retail systems, as well as prime cost and cost of goods sold. The first thing I'm going to do is have you guys open up your email. And within your email, you have a zip file that says live training zip. Go ahead and open up that zip folder. If you have not received a training packet, go ahead and let me know via chat. But you want to open up that training packet, and you want to go ahead and double click on wireless login information. From there, we're going to go ahead and enable the editing. So again, in your training packet, you're going to open wireless login information. Within there, you have something that looks like a bunch of links. Once you're there, I'm going to go ahead and assign everyone right now your own server. So everyone will have their own server for the next 4 days, so make sure you're using the same exact one. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and split my screen and go down the list. Andrew, I'm going to make you user 1. Bernie, you will be user 2. Charlotte, you will be user 3. Chris, I'm going to make you user 4. Derek, you will be user 5. Jeff, you're going to be user 6. And then Larissa, I'm going to make you user number 7. So what you're going to do once you have your user assigned to you is you're going to copy and paste this link onto Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. And then from there, you're going to go ahead and log in our demo system. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our login information for our demo system. If you need me to repeat any of these steps, let me know. Hey, Jeff, will you let me know if that password is capital ABC or if it's lowercase? It would be a capital A, though, still. So it's going to be this, the manager, and then ID will be the QFS. So everyone, even though I can see that the login did change on that actual file that I sent you guys, go ahead and use this username and password to log in. All right, 1 second, Andrew. Let me go ahead and get that sent to you again. Is anyone else having issues opening up that zip folder? All right, I'll go ahead and get that sent. Give me 1 moment, please. Did you have issues opening up that zip, Jeff? Okay, perfect. Okay, try ABC with a capital A at 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'm going to CC you in this email so I can DC everyone else, just a heads up. Hi, good morning. Yeah, it's actually not really open to the public right now, so. Training folder. Yes, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and get everyone signed in. Do you know where the laptops are in the back? So they're going to be, actually there's one right there, but you're gonna have to grab, Jeff, will you go to my office in the desk in the back where my chips are? There's going to be a charger. Can you do me a favor? Will you look on that computer and open it up and see what number it is? Because it will give you a charger number. Computer 4. Computer 4, okay. All right, Andrew and Chris, I just reset you the file folder. And then that's your packet right there in the front, wherever you sit. All right, Derek, what you're going to do then is once you have that file open, you're going to go, the zip folder open, you're going to go ahead and, give me 1 second, open up wireless login information. That's going to be the very last file in that zip file. Once you're there, you're going to scroll down until you see user number 5. Once you see user number 5, you're going to go ahead and copy and paste this demo link into your browser, either Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that onto my browser. Give me 1 second. For some reason, mine's not working. Thanks, Jeff. Derek, let me know if it's not working on your end, because that link isn't working on mine. If it's not, I'm going to go ahead and assign you to number 8, user number 8. But once you guys go ahead and copy and paste that link onto your browser, you're going to sign in using the login credentials right over here. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure that login credential works. All right, go ahead and log in using this username and password above. And then I'll go ahead and get you set up in one moment.
Oh, that your mouse not working? Well, I just grabbed this one. Yeah, because that was the 3 years. It's Tues. Have you been busy? It's been crazy. It's good though, we're getting, you know, kind of a slow start, especially since, because the introduction of leaves, we're gonna be, kind of using this as we're gonna step up to the next level. Oh, okay. So we're kind of, I didn't wanna push because it's a very small staff. They're very close, and there's a lot of friendships and a lot. They've been there also a long time. And they all know the owners, and they're very cliquey, but trying not to single anybody out, but to have everybody as a team want to do better. Yeah. So we're gonna kind of clean house a little bit, and I think that it's gonna be interesting. So this is gonna be your login right over there, for the actual computer, and then I'm gonna have you just drag and drop that file folder, that zip file. Okay.
And let me know once you're done. Derek, were you able to get logged in? Everyone else is able to get logged in? Bernie, the login is going to be this one right over here. So this is the restaurant ID, QFSKHT. So what you're going to do is open up that.
So that's just the password is.
Oh, yes.
Is that not? Alright, so what you do is
If you're going to drag and drop that folder onto your desktop, let me know once you do that, or if you need help doing that. Let me answer this comment real quick.
file?
No, yeah, go ahead and replace it. All right, Chris and Andrew. Andrew, were you able to open up that zip file? And then Andrew, what I'm going to do then is if your login's not working, let me let me give you a different one. So I'm going to make you user number 9 instead. So Andrew, you will be user number 9. Try copying and paste that link instead and signing in and seeing if that works. And then Chris, give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and try to send you this in a different file. Bernie, I'm going to give you a different one then. Go ahead and try number 10, user number 10. All right, so what you're going to do, Melissa, is once you get that zip file onto your actual desktop, open up the wireless login information page. And then once you're there, you're going to scroll down until you see user number 11. And you're going to copy and paste the link onto your browser and sign in using our demo login. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and send Andrew another zip file. Or my apologies, Chris. The restaurant's going to be QSSKHT, and then also the login, make sure you use this one. It's the Z Manager ABC at 123. So yeah, we'll be in a demo system today. Give me 1 second, Chris. I'm still trying to get that figured out. For some reason, it's working on everyone else's email besides yours. All right, Chris, I went ahead and resent it via a drive. The restaurant is QSSKHT. Bernie, go ahead and try a different one then. Let's go ahead and try user number 12. Is it not letting you log in whatsoever, or is it the actual link to it? If it's the link, then go ahead and use user number 12. If it's the login itself, make sure that it has capital A. Chris, what do you mean by that? You just open up wireless login information, find your user, and copy and paste the link onto your browser. And you got it? Perfect, okay. Are you gonna be here all 4 days? Perfect, okay. At least it's only 4 hours now.
All right, well, today was due, I was kind of, well, but then I saw to go at 4 and close.
Oh, okay. At least I will say last class, so I've only done the 4-hour classes one time, but the last time I finished up today super early since it's just daily paperwork. That's the easiest section.
And that's why I think the first one, the first time I came, way easy. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even really stay in the store yet.
Mhm.
It was a little anxious.
Mhm.
This one, I have so many questions for you.
Good, okay.
I hope you're ready.
No, it's always better for someone to come to my training after they've been in the system for, for some time. Exactly.
It was a good thought, but it was wasting both of ours.
Yeah, I just find that people don't have questions when they, you know, have never even logged in. Why would they have questions?
Exactly. My question was, are we using this for scheduling? And when one tells me we are, and one tells me we're not, I'm like, maybe I should wait.
Yeah, no problem. Is anyone else having issues logging in? Chris, do you want me to have someone call you? I'm going to have someone call you, okay? Awesome. Just give them a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and have someone help you out. Sorry about that, Chris. Does anyone else need help logging in? All right, Bernie, I'm going to have someone give you a call as well. Bless you. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Bernie. All right, awesome. So everyone else besides Chris should be logged in by now. I'm going to go ahead and have someone give you a call right now to get logged in, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So today, like I said, we're going to be going over daily paperwork. Today is the easy day. There's not, honestly, there's not much to daily paperwork, but there is some other sections in the system that I will go over today. Please make sure, especially since everyone is live, that you go ahead and ask questions if you have any. And then just know that we will, for everyone that's here right now, we're going to be working on the left side of our folder today. For everyone that's going to be via virtual, it's going to be day 1 that we'll be starting on. So like I said earlier, we're going to be signed into a demo system, so you're not actually messing up your own particular system. Now, because we are in a demo system, this restaurant is Monday through Sunday, so your days of the week may be a little bit different, but just know that everything we're going to be going over in the next 4 days will be Monday through Sunday. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start going over the system. So the first section of Restaurant Systems Pro, when you sign in, is going to be the dashboard. So this dashboard is accessible to managers. You can see everything from your reverse labor hours, your reverse labor numbers. That's going to be your real in and out clock times, or purchasable on the systems. That's your budget for ordering. Delivery by date, that's your orders for the week, for example. Sales forecast, that's going to be your predicted sales. End of day is going to be your actual sales. Last week's CVR report will be your budget variance, your prime cost numbers. And then below that, we have all of our mastermind replays or our webinars. On the very bottom of each page, you're going to see a training and technical support phone number as well as email. On the very left side, you're going to see a chat icon. In this chat icon, it has basically it's available for 10 hours a day. So it's available for 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can go ahead and chat with us. It's just like instant messages. And then lastly, let's just say, for example, if I was under daily paperwork, under end of day report, and I could not figure out how to enter my end of day report, I could click on this help icon, and that help icon will generate with all of the videos and articles we have in that subject. So I just click on the video tab, open up the video, and there's about a 5-minute video on every single thing in the system on a how-to. Now, this does not pertain to your particular restaurant, it's just in general. So just a heads up, you may have some questions. All right. Give me 1 second. So what we're going to do next is go over restaurant setup. You can go ahead and watch my screen for restaurant setup, and then for daily paperwork, you will be following me along. Now, because this is virtual, it's a little bit harder for everyone in person to go ahead and, or everyone that's virtual online to go ahead and follow along. So just please make sure you ask any questions if you have any.
But if he's having issues with whatever you're emailing him, not necessarily.
Give me 1 second, guys. All right, so we're good to go now. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the restaurant setup part. And I will say before we even get started with anything in Restaurant Systems Pro, this is very overwhelming. This is a lot of information taken at once, and I do not expect you guys to be able to fully understand everything I'm saying or memorize everything I'm saying. So that being said, just make sure that you write down any notes if you have any. Also, everyone should have an RSP coach that you can contact. So under these tabs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to Restaurant Setup first. Now, your restaurant setup is only accessible to your owners as well as anyone on our team, on my team. So what we're going to do is go over each section, and then we'll move on to actual daily paperwork. The first section is going to be Restaurant Setup. Restaurant Setup is electronic file cabinet for your restaurant. You can import anything that you'd like in here. So you can see for this particular restaurant, we have monthly P&Ls, we have products to be imported, our sales forecast wizard. All you have to do is click on Select Files, double click on the file, click Upload, and as soon as it's orange, that means we're good to go. No one can delete the file besides the site admin, so make sure that you are importing the correct information. Below that, you have meal periods. So under restaurant setup, the meal period, that's going to be specifically for your employee availability. That's what we used to call master schedules if you've been an OG with us for a while. So what we would do when you first get started is we would go ahead and go over what time is your start time, your end time for each shift. So open shift, off, PM, and AM. We will only do AM and PM together. So you can see for this particular restaurant, the first person that comes in is 8 AM and they leave. The last person coming during that lunch shift is 1:49, so basically 2 p.m. That's when the dinner shift starts. And then the dinner shift ends at 1 a.m. Underneath meal periods is going to be your stations. Your stations, that's going to be for your prep system. So you can see we have everything from grill station to cold station, whatever you'd like for your restaurant. The cool thing about Restaurant Systems Pro is we're 100% customizable to your restaurant. Under restaurant setup, again, I have org setup. So org setup, this is where we're going to go ahead and set up your list of departments. Within a department, you guys have your positions. And then within a position itself, you have the actual station. Below that, we have our phase option. So this is what we call phase options. So if you hear us refer to that, that's what we mean, even though it does not say that for the actual name of it. A phase option is basically replacing your end time with a word. So if I start at 5 p.m. and leave at, let's just say 12 a.m., I can have my schedule say 5 p.m. till close instead of the actual end time. The next section is going to be manager log. The manager log is going to be a daily communication tool for all of your managers, and these are for our particular restaurant, the standard list of questions. Also below that, you have login information, or you have manager log section, and that's going to be basically questions within a question. So if I open up employee issues, you can see I'm asking for the employee, the position name, the issue, the time and date, and how it was resolved. The next one is going to be vendor setup. So when you first get started with us, we'll ask you for a list of vendors, or if you have a new vendor, we can go ahead and get that added for you. All you have to do is click on the plus sign to add a new vendor. Please note that we can do purchase orders in the system, and so you can go ahead and add your sales rep's email, their phone number, as well as their name. And as of right now, we are not integrated with any vendor, so just a heads up. Go ahead. Oh yeah, perfect. It's right over here. Also, while we're waiting real quick, I talk very fast, so feel free to let me know if I need to slow down. You're watching? Okay, perfect. All right, so the next section is going to be category setup. So this is very important because this feeds into your invoice log, your cost of goods sold. This feeds into pretty much everything in the system, your products, your end of day report, all of that good stuff. The initial reason why we set this up is for your end of day report. So that's your end of day summary report from your POS system, but we also use it for everything else in the system. Up on the very top where it says sales categories, these are your cost of goods sold categories. These actually apply to your cost of goods sold. Under payment methods, if you guys use Uber Eats, Grubhub, any of that good stuff, we'll also add those as payment methods. Again, we pull all of this information from your POS report. We have total discounts. Your POS already breaks it down for you. You can break it down if you'd like, but your POS already does that. We have accounts payable. Your accounts payable, that's money that you're holding, but it's not actually yours. And then, for example, tips collected. Only if you guys pay your tips on their paycheck is when you'll have a tips collected section under accounts payable. We have our non-sales category. So that can be anything from fuel surcharges to keg deposits, keg credits, all of that good stuff. And you can see paper supplies, office supplies, all of that. That does not apply to our cost of goods sold, so just a heads up. And then we have our waste sheet reasons on the very bottom. So you can do anything that you'd like. For example, we had a client in Alaska that did animals as one of their reasons, so you can really do anything. Next section is going to be storage. So your storage location is for your inventory shelf to sheet. If you have no idea what the inventory shelf to sheet is, just let me know. But there is a video on that as well. That's the order that you want your inventory location. Next is going to be our preferences. So again, this is something that your coach and you will set up together, but they're going to ask you your weekly number of overtime. So this one's 40. Weekly overtime type is weekly for this restaurant. Overtime rate is a time and a half. Shift hours is 8 hours. Minimum pay rate is $10 for this particular restaurant. We're Monday through Sunday, and our benefits, taxes, and insurance percentage is 15%. The next section is going to be email processor setup. So I'm actually going to skip over this one and go straight into roles. Basically, what the role is everyone in your restaurant. So let's just say I'm an employee. An employee can view their schedule and they can request off. If I'm a manager, I can probably see pretty much everything in the system besides restaurant setup. But let's just say I'm a hostess and I'm helping out my chef with some recipe costing cards. You can give access to that person. You can give them access to just the employee section plus recipes and products. So whatever you'd like them to have access to, we can make specific roles. Now, pertaining to that, we have email processor setup. We have daily emails that go out at the end of the night, and when they do, you can allow specific roles to be able to receive those notifications on a daily basis. So you can see everyone that says true is receiving that on a nightly basis. Set up schedule notification. So this is if you want to be notified about your schedule. And this is going to be for your managers. So let's just say that someone requests off. That way that specific manager for that specific position will be notified. The next one is labor allotment. So this is where you can delete the labor allotment. There's not a way to actually delete it within the actual labor allotment section itself. So just know that you delete it under restaurant setup. The reason why you would delete it is if you just want to start all over, if it's easier that way. The next one is, one second, I just showed you guys role, is going to be menu category. So once you guys get started with your recipe costing cards, if you have a menu online, we can go ahead and grab that menu online and add your menu categories for you. And this is where we go ahead and add that. This is specifically for your recipe costing cards in your menu profit generator, which is where you guys analyze your menu itself. Last one is going to be link restaurant user. So if I have multiple restaurant locations in restaurants that use Restaurant Systems Pro, I can link username and passwords I can toggle through. Please let us know if you have not already done that. We can go ahead and help you do that. Again, only a site admin as well as myself or anyone on our team can go ahead and get that entered for you or do any of the restaurant setup part for you. Now give me 1 second. Let me just go ahead and make sure where we're at. Awesome. And then typically before we get started into the actual daily paperwork, I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Just state your name, your restaurant, and then what you're looking forward to in the system specifically.
My name is Michelle. I am working with Fuzzy's Sports Bar and Grill and Surprise. We are getting ready to open up a second location. I'm jumping on board, post-COVID, trying to help revamp things. I'm learning how, I would love to learn how to control labor and food costs so that my store can go.
Awesome. So you're both front of the house and back of the house kind of thing. Okay.
That's why I took the position. I couldn't buy this experience.
Yeah, no problem. And then Jeff, go ahead and introduce yourself. Yep, exactly. All right. And then do you have any questions for me before we actually get started? Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. Does anyone else have any questions? And then give me 1 second. Let me grab a water bottle and we're going to go ahead and dive into daily paperwork.
You want a water bottle? Yes, please. Jeff, you get it? I remember the good coffee did too. Yeah, feels great. Oh. Yeah, you have to dump it in my clothes. Oh, no, you're fine. Thank you very much.
All right. So daily paperwork. Daily paperwork is going to be basically things that you do on a daily basis, just like the name of it. It really just depends on which section that you're at. And so each section, I will go over when you're going to go ahead and get that entered. Go ahead and open up the second page in your folder, and it's going to be called Sales Forecast. Again, we're in packet day 1 if you're following along. You absolutely do not need to follow along with the packet itself. You can just watch my screen if you'd like as well. All right, again, on the very top, it says Sales Forecast Wizard. So daily paperwork is really the foundation to your entire system. Everything that we are doing in daily paperwork needs to be done, or else everything else in the system will be inaccurate. So let's just say, for example, sales forecast, that feeds into your budget variance report, your cost of goods sold report, that feeds into your purchase allotment report, that feeds into your labor allotment report. So it feeds into a bunch of different areas. It also feeds into reverse labor, for example. So you want to make sure everything that we do go over on a daily paperwork gets done. And then how we typically go about the system is you'll start learning the daily paperwork first, then the labor system, then food and beverage system. All right. So we're going to enter our sales forecast. Before we start entering our sales forecast, I just need to explain to you the 2 different ways that you can go about entering the sales forecast. Now, please note, if you're a brand new restaurant with us, and this is the first time that you're doing sales forecast, you probably noticed that I'm going to be doing today, our class, a little bit different. The reason why is because we have history in the system, and so if you're brand new, you have no history, which is why we had to manually enter it. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to pull it from a report. So your sales forecast, like I said, is your predicted sales each day of the week. You have 2 ways of going about this. If you're a trending restaurant, you can go ahead and use last month's sales or previous month. If you're more seasonal, you can go ahead and use last year's sales. Now, everything in the system, no matter what part of the system that you're in, is going to be using gross sales. That's going to be total sales, including comps and discounts, not including tax. Our definition of gross sales may be a little bit different than your definition of gross sales, so just make sure that your POS system calculates it accurately. I know that some POS systems have our definition of gross sales as their definition of net sales. So just a heads up. So once you figure out a way of which numbers that you're going to pull, you would be pulling from your POS system or wherever you have those daily sales, basically a report that has every single day with the total sales for each day of the week. If you're an existing customer with us that has at least 1 month for the end of day report, you can go ahead and pull it directly using the sales wizard. Once you go ahead and figure out which date range that you're going to go ahead and pull for this particular restaurant, we're more seasonal. Even with COVID going on, we're still seasonal. So we're going to go ahead and use last year. What you would want to do to use last year is you're going to go to sales forecast under daily paperwork. From there, I'm going to click on sales wizard. So the second month that you're with us, we'll most likely be able to use the sales wizard. From here, this is what it looks like. There's a couple of different things that we need to go ahead and get entered into the system. First, we have a drop-down box for sample type by month or by week. I would suggest you just do it by month, and then you can go ahead and adjust it if you need to. For our target sales, so let's just say that we did $30,000 last year, but we think that we're going to do $25,000 this year. This is where you would enter the target sales amount. And then we have a calendar box for a sample month as well as a target month as well. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing July sales forecast. And then before we actually do that, I'm going to pull up one more thing, which is my calendar. Now, if you're Monday through Sunday, you're going to see at the very end of the month, you'll have the 29th through the 5th. So the month feeds over, the week feeds over to the upcoming month. So what you want to do with the sales forecast is it has to be done by the 20th of each month for the upcoming month. So right now, by the 20th, I'm going to do July, and then the 20th of July, or around the 20th of July, I can go ahead and do August, for example. First thing that we're going to do together is click on the calendar box for the sample type and select July 2019. From here, under the target month, we're going to select July 2020, the month that we're predicting for. So for this particular restaurant, we think that we're going to do $27,000 in sales for the total month. So we're going to type in our target sales amount as 27. And I actually apologize. Let's go ahead and do, because that's not a realistic number for this particular restaurant. We're going to go ahead and do 130,000 instead. My apologies. From here, hit preview. So on the left side, again, as long as we have history in the system, whether it be a year's worth of history or a month's worth of history of end of day reports, you can start doing it this way. On the left side, I have my original actual sales from July 2019. On the right side, I have my predicted sales for the upcoming month now. You can see last year, and actually, for some reason, give me 1 second, it's not giving me the first. Oh, for some reason, it's generating on the very bottom. So I'm going to have to double check that. For some reason, it is pulling a different date range. Is it happening to your screen too? Yeah, okay, no problem. So we're just going to go ahead and ignore that, but typically it should start off with the first of the month with the 31st or the 30th, whatever that month ends with. It doesn't on yours? Okay. How odd. Yeah, this is a demo system, so sometimes we do have little issues here and there. Yeah, but it typically shouldn't match it up like that. But what I was going to say is if last year, if the first was on a Monday and this year it was on a Wednesday, it will do the math for you and make the changes for you. So you don't have to worry about that. What you do have to worry about is, let's just say that Memorial Day was on a Sunday last year, and then now it's on a Monday. you do have to make the adjustments from there with holidays. All right. And then one last thing, if you don't want to do a target sales, and you can just watch my screen for this one, I can zero that out. And then let's just say that last year that we're going to be doing about 5% more in sales than last year. So what I can do is I can add a percentage, hit apply to all days, and I can do negative percentages as well, apply to all days. And then what the system will do is, I'm not going to do this, but it will add on that 5% or the 20%, the negative 20, whatever you add on to the actual percentage. Again, I'm going to back that out, add my target sales. Any questions before we save this? Awesome. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and save. And there you go. Now all I have to do is, I always like verifying my work, so I'm going to switch this date range to July 31st, and then I can just scroll down and make sure that I have numbers for the upcoming month. One last thing, which is very important. So typically when you first get started in the system, if you do a couple end of day reports, after you do a couple of them, then I'll go into your system and fix this and enter the actual mix for you. But if you already have the mix, or you don't have the mix in your system, but you have it already in general, then you can go ahead and get that entered as soon as you enter the sales wizard. What I'm going to do, just for an example, is I'm going to go to a blank month just to show you. So August. So everyone has a sales mix. What you could do if you have end of day report is I can open up a tab on a daily paperwork under end of day report. I could scroll down as long as I have history, and there's going to be a column that says percentage total. I can scroll to the right side of percentage totals and see my categories. You can see I start with giraffe here, and this is going to be my sales mix. So what that means is if I look at food, 80.49% of my sales goes towards food. 6.83% goes towards giraffe here. Again, if you're a member with me, what I typically do is the first couple times you enter end of day. After that, I'll go ahead and go into your system and add this for you. You don't have to worry. You may have to worry about updating it in the future though. After you get that percentage, again, you can grab it manually from your POS system. Is you would go into a month and it would be blank since you just started with sales forecast. You can enter the first of the month. I just enter a number 1 because I'm going to go in there afterwards and enter the correct number once I have it. But I would scroll down and save. And your coach will do this for you, just a heads up, because it's a lot of different steps. I would save that, and you can see an arrow icon generates. After that generates, I'm going to open it up, and then you can go down the list and add your sales mix. So you can see our POS system said 80.49% for food, but in this system was 80.5%. This just needs to calculate to 100%, and this does feed into the other areas in your system, like purchase allotment and your budget variance report. After you do the first of the month, and then save that, you can go ahead and enter the rest of your month, and it will go ahead and generate for each day of the week. Any questions on the sales forecast? And it makes sense? Awesome. And then just a heads up, we'll be taking about a 5-10 minute break pretty much every hour of today's class. So just a heads up. Go ahead and open up your folder and take up page 3 now. You might as well take up page 3 to page 11. My apologies, page 13. All right, so the next section that we're going to go over is going to be your daily paperwork. So is going to be your paid out log. So just a heads up, we have a paid out log in the invoice log in the system, so just make sure you don't get this confused. So under daily paperwork, I'm going to open up paid out log. So the easiest way that I could explain a paid out log is anytime you take money out of your front cash register. So petty cash, if you guys take money out of your back safe drawer in the office, that is still going to be petty cash. That's an invoice. Paid out log is when you take money in that front cash register. So let's just say that the bartender ran out of lemons. The bartender handed me a $20 bill, told me to go to Walmart to come back with lemons and change a receipt. So if I did that, that would be a paid out. Make sure you don't enter that accidentally into the invoice log or the other way around, because if you have a paid out, you should be bringing it up in your POS system. And if you are, it should generate in your nightly reports. If it generates on your nightly reports, then you will have an overshort if you don't enter the paid out. So just a heads up. We're going to go ahead and enter two paid outs together. One's Costco, one's Walmart. On the very bottom of the paid out log screen, you have totals by category, totals by date. You're going to hear me refer to the bottom grid quite often, but this is what I'm referring to. Does not matter which page I'm in, it's the bottom grid. Up on the very top, it generates to the current date range, and to add a new one, we're going to click on the plus sign. So we're going to do the Costco receipt together, and then you're going to go ahead and do the Walmart receipt on your own. The first thing you're going to do is select the date. For this particular paid out, it occurred on 6/15. So we're going to click on the calendar icon and select the date of 6/15. You can manually change the date range as well. For the receipt number, so majority of the time, this particular one has a receipt number. If it does not, just use the date range without any special characters. So for example, 6/15/2020. For the store name, so the only difference between a paid out and an invoice is not only the way that you guys actually purchase it, but it's also going to be the receipt number, and the store name is a paid out, but in the invoice log, it's called vendor name, and then it's called invoice number. So those are the only two differences. Under store name, you're going to manually type in Costco. And then from there, the last thing you want to do up on the very top portion is enter the grand total amount, including any additional costs. So once we're here, all we have to do is go ahead and look at our receipt, and you see how Costco is all food. So we're just going to have one food category. If you look at the Walmart receipt on the very bottom, or if you just look at the items that we purchased, you can see that we purchased Clorox bleach, but we also purchased mushrooms. If it's multiple different categories, you will have to do subtotal categories and add those all up yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the plus sign one time and select the category as food for Costco, since it's only food products on this invoice. Now, even though there's about 10 items on this Costco receipt, I am not going to select 10 different food categories. I'm just going to do one with the subtotal. Under the accounting code, that's for your QuickBooks. You do not need to enter that for your QuickBooks to be integrated. Description. So I don't recommend that you sit here and type out all 10 products in here. I recommend that you just go ahead and take a photo and then go ahead and upload that. So we're going to skip over the description. Under the amount, you're going to enter the grand total amount, again, including any additional costs. Now, if you wanted to, you could separate it. This particular restaurant does not have a sales tax category. So what we would do for this restaurant is, for food, I would enter the amount before tax, then I would click on the plus sign, and for this restaurant, we put it under paper supplies. And then I could go ahead and put that $2.41 as my sales tax. Again, you can just combine it if you'd like, or you can go ahead and separate it. Just make sure you keep it consistent. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on upload. You can just watch my screen for this upload part. We're going to click on upload, select the file, and then from there, you can go ahead and double click on a photo. I'm just going to do a random one. And that way, no matter what, I always have this receipt, and when I save it, I can click on this magnifying icon and view my photo. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and enter that Walmart receipt on your own if you're following along with me. If you're not, just go ahead and watch my screen. Again, on the very bottom of the Walmart receipt, you have your food category as well as janitorial supplies. So you will have two separate categories for Walmart. For this particular receipt, it is for today. Once you're done, go ahead and refer back to my screen and make sure that we're both on the same page. Again, paid outs do feed into your end of day report, so make sure that you're bringing this up in your end of day report so it generates. Any questions or concerns? And then once you're done, you're going to go ahead and click Save. Just a heads up, you're going to see this little arrow icon in multiple areas in the system. It's very tiny. It's under a text box. That just means you need to save your work. So go ahead and save that. And then when I save, I always verify that the bottom total did generate, because that's how I know I saved. Sometimes we lose internet, and even if it's a split second long, it does not save your work if we lost it. So you just want to make sure the totals on the bottom generated. Any questions? And then just a heads up, daily paperwork, everything that we're going to do should not take you longer than about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes on a daily basis to get this done. I'm going to give everyone a couple more minutes. And then once you're done, you can go ahead, let's take a 10-minute break. Right now, it's about to be 10 a.m. my time. And so come back at 10:10 if you're already completed. Yeah, absolutely. Grab coffee if you'd like or whatever. Yeah. All right, guys, it looks like no questions. So I'm going to go ahead and go on break. Again, we're going to come back in about 12 minutes technically. At 10:10, we will be back.
going to give everyone 1 more minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me just make sure the audio is working online. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Perfect. All right, so go ahead and take up page 4 to page 7 out of your folder. Again, we're in day 1, and we're going to move on to the next step. So far we've gone over sales forecast as well as paid out log. Now we're going to go ahead and go over end of day reporting. So everyone go to daily paperwork and go to end of day report. By the way, paid out log, you only enter it when it occurs. Same thing with the invoice log. Daily end of day report you will have to do on a nightly basis or the first thing the next morning. So your end of day report is going to be your end of day summary report from your POS system if you have a POS system. If not, we can grab that number somewhere else. But you would want to pull a summary report from your POS and then get that entered as and it's honestly just data entry. So what typically you would do is if you're new to the system, you can go ahead and send your coach 1 or 2 end of day reports. From there, they're going to go ahead and balance it out for you, and then they'll go ahead and get on a call with you to show you how to enter it into the system. Once you have that started, you're going to be doing that on a daily basis. Again, first thing at the end of the night or the first thing the next morning. The reason why is if there's an overshort of, let's just say $100, it's more than likely that I'm able to figure out why I'm $100 overshort if I just work that shift rather than someone that didn't even work the shift. So under end of day report, this is what it looks like. You can see up in the very top, it generates the current month. If you want to change the date range, you can go ahead and change it, then click load. You can export this to Excel. If you're on a tablet or a phone, you can't double click, so you have to select it and then click on edit, add new record. There's pretty much that icon on every single page for that reason. And then if anyone adjusts this end of day report, I can click on history and see exactly what they did. We're going to go ahead and scroll down and look for Tuesday. We're going to pretend like it's the end of the day on Tuesday, and then in your actual folder itself, go ahead and take out Tuesday, which is page 6. From here, you're going to double click on Tuesday. Again, under end of day report, under daily paperwork. From here, there's a couple different things that you'll see. Up on the very top, you'll have your paid out. You can see that we did enter a payout for today, and so that's why it says $38.50. Right now, because there's nothing else entered, you have an overshort. We have sales forecast, again, accounts payable. If you don't pay your tips out, if you pay them out on a nightly basis, you won't have tips collected. We have deductions as well as payment methods. All you're going to be doing is data entry. So we're going to start with sales category, and you can see under the gross sales column that's bolded out in your on page 6, you're going to go down the list and start entering all of those numbers. What I recommend is when you first do this with your coach that you print off an end of day report and highlight all of the columns that you need to enter. All right, so it looks like these columns have been rearranged. So just make sure you're entering under the correct one. Yep, exactly. Also, in your POS system, if you have not done this already, I would highly recommend, if you guys do not separate your beverages, that you do that. Draft beer from bottled beer from liquor all have different pour costs. Once you're done with sales categories, move on to your accounts payable. You'll see to the very right of that sales by category, you have your tax amount, which is $590.75. And on this particular invoice, it looks like we have no gift cards sold, or actually it has $50 gift cards sold. You're on page 6, right? Oh, yeah, take up page 6. No problem. Also, just a heads up, that cash amount that you're going to enter under cash deposit, that has to be the actual cash amount that you bring to the bank, because sometimes it's a little bit different than what your POS says, especially if you guys pay out tips. So your numbers should look exactly like mine. Right now, I do have a $37.87 overshort. And my apologies. Unfortunately, I just realized that this paid out that we entered for $38.50 was not for this specific day. It was actually for tomorrow. So my apologies, but you'll be able to see that, and we can make that adjustment later. We can just change the date range of it. Again, those little red arrow icons mean you need to save. Go ahead and just hold off on saving until everyone's on the same page. All right, everyone should be finished now. We're going to go ahead and scroll down, and you have two options to save. You can save in next, or you can click save. I'm just going to go ahead and click save. Once you're done, again, I always verify that my work saved. I'm going to scroll down, look for today, and make sure it's under there. Any questions or concerns? And once you guys get the hang of it, it should honestly not take you longer than 5 minutes to get this entered on a nightly basis. All right, so now we're going to move on to the invoice log. All right, so there's going to be 3 US Foods receipts and then 3 other receipts after that. If you're following along. So the next section that we're going to go over is going to be the invoice log under daily paperwork. Now, a couple things to note. One, so if you're using a company credit card, a company check, or if you're even using petty cash, that's going to be an invoice log still. And then the second thing is with your invoice log, make sure that you get this entered on a daily basis or whenever they actually occur, whenever you guys receive a delivery. Because this does feed into everything else in your system, especially the purchase allotment system. That's your budget for ordering. What we're going to do is we're going to enter invoices manually. So I will say that this is the easy way of entering an invoice. And the reason why I'm going to show you guys the easy way, and then on, I think it's on Friday, I show you guys how to actually enter an order line by line. But when you first get started in the system, you need to do it this way. And then once we're actually at the food, beverage, and retail, you can start doing it the other way. So what we're going to do is let's go over the section first. So on the very bottom, we have totals by category, totals by date. Again, we have a bottom grid, and then it also generates on the current month that you're on. There's a new feature that you can go ahead and view by vendor or view by grid, by date. Also, one more thing is, I'm not going to go over this today, but under daily paperwork, there's going to be invoice upload. So we have an option for you that if you'd like to pay for the services of us importing your invoices for you, you can absolutely pay for that. Or if you're accounting with us or interested in accounting with us, we will enter all of your invoices for you or your orders for you. So just a heads up with that, that is an option. So we're going to click on the plus sign on the bottom grid and we're going to enter an invoice together. The first thing it's going to ask you is the date. For this particular one, oops, it looks like I updated all the other days. We're going to actually just take out the last page of US Foods. And on the very bottom, you have an arrow icon that says enter these items. And we're going to keep the date range as today. For the vendor, there's a drop-down box for your list of vendors, and we're going to select, for this example, US Foods. For invoice number, even if this is a handwritten invoice from your farmer, there should still be an invoice number. Also, just a heads up, if you're integrated with us in QuickBooks Desktop, then you just have to enter it one time into Restaurant Systems Pro, and then it will feed into your actual QuickBooks itself. So just a heads up. Last thing is entering the amount. This is going to be the grand total amount, including any additional costs. So $1,191.67. All right. Now, after we filled out the top portion text boxes, we're going to click on the plus sign on the bottom grid, and we're going to go ahead and add 2 categories, or actually 3 categories. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to manually add up each subtotal category. Now, the good thing is if you look at, for example, US Foods, Cisco, Benny Keith, all of those vendors, they do this, but they have subcategories already. So freezer is food, spices, supplies is going to be your, looks like paper supplies. So you're going to have to add up these totals together. We've already added this up for you on the very last page. So you can see food is $1,073.15. So we're going to click on the plus sign 3 times. 1 for food, 1 for janitorial supplies, and then 1's going to be for paper supplies. Again, accounting's from your QuickBooks, and you absolutely do not need to enter that in order for you to be integrated. Description, I just upload multiple photos or a photo of the invoice. So I don't need to enter a description. And then under the amount, after you grab your subtotals, you're going to go ahead and enter under the amount column the subtotals for each category. And then again, For us, supply or our paper supplies is going to be where we enter our sales tax. So that one includes the sales tax for this restaurant. Once you're done, your remaining balance should be zero. It's not going to let you save even if you're a penny off. So just a heads up, this total needs to match up completely with this total. And again, just for the sake of an example, I'm going to hit upload, select my file, and upload a random photo for an example. And save this once you're done. This is actually yours, Bernie. Go ahead.
So if I've just been taking pictures.
Uh-huh.
Do I have to do those?
Oh, you've been taking photos and uploading them to us? Yeah, so we actually, if you take photos and you do it from the app, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that means that you're accounting with us. So you don't have to do any of this. Yeah, we do this for you. Yeah.
I was noticing that we are missing a couple vendors. Should I just get
Oh.
my coach?
Yeah, or just let me know. I'm here right now. So yeah, whatever's easier. If you just write down a list of them. Or if you want, even ask on chat, just list your vendors and your restaurant name and they'll add them right now too. Whatever's easier.
Yeah, I'll have to get there to see it.
Oh, okay. No problem. All right, I'm going to give everyone about 2 minutes to finish that US Foods one up. If you're already completed with US Foods, go ahead and continue on with the 3 other invoices provided for you. Please note page 11. That's a keg deposit and a keg credit. So what I would do is if it's a $30 difference like this one is, I would just have one category with that $30 difference. And you can look at my screen when if you have any questions or ask any. You can see just like my screen, even though there's a $90 negative and then there's going to be a $120 charge, I just did a $30 difference for one keg deposit category. Same thing that you would do for a bottle deposit, for example. Save that once you're done. And then the last 2 pages, the vendor is called Pickup Store. Or it's called Pickup Store. The last one's all liquor. Oh, since it's already existing? This is a demo system. Just go ahead and do like a number 1 at the end of it for the vendor name. Yeah, sorry, the invoice name. Yep. I'm gonna give everyone about 2 more minutes to finish that up. Let me know if you have any questions. Does anyone need extra time? Go ahead and raise your hand if you do. Awesome, no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys a couple more minutes. Let me know if you have any questions, please. Two more minutes. We're gonna start back up at 10:37. All right, even if you're not completed, go ahead and save the last one that you're on, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on. So we have gone over so far the sales forecast, your end of day report, invoice log, invoice upload. Again, that's for your accounting, or if you're having us upload your photos of your invoices for you. We went over the paid out log. Then the last 3 things are going to be the checklist, the manager log, and then the purchase allotment systems for the daily paperwork section. We will be going over a couple other sections today too. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is going to be the manager log. On page 14, you have some manager log questions and answers for you. Basically, the manager log is communication for your management team. Basically, there's a couple different things to know. Just know that the current day you're on is the current day that you should be answering for if you did work a shift. And if you did work a shift, then you would answer it. Whatever you answer, everyone else that's a manager in your restaurant will receive a notification. If you want to know who receives notifications for this, you can click on this select user drop-down box, and anyone that generates is receiving a nightly email. If you want, you could go ahead and manually send one out. So let's just say that we have a reservation for today, and this manager log isn't going to send out to our until our dispatch time, which is going to be for this restaurant around 2 a.m. And so I can send it before. I can select the employee and then click send mail log. In a couple seconds, I should receive a notification with that. I can also print this off as a PDF, and then I can go ahead and click on go to search, and I can search for a specific question or answer right over here. Now, like I said, your manager log is a communication tool for your management team. And then what you would typically do is you could ask your coach for the template of your manager log questions, and you can revise the template, send it back to us, and we'll enter it into the system for you. I would recommend that you enter questions that pertain to your particular restaurant. And let's just say, for example, I would enter something that's a pet peeve for mine. So if this was my restaurant, I would enter something about light bulbs, for example. So to actually answer the manager log, you just click on the plus sign on the bottom grid of manager log. And then from here, you have a list of questions and answers. So it really depends on your restaurant, but most people will go ahead and require the managers to answer all of the questions if they pertain to them. So what we're going to do is you're going to click on the plus sign, make sure you're under manager log, click on the plus sign, and then I've already given you a list of answers, but you can make up your own. So go ahead and go down the list and start answering questions. Once you're done, go ahead and save that. And as soon as you save, you'll see the answers looks just like this. It gives me my name as well as my answer. And then just know that once, let's just say, for example, if someone else came into the manager log after I answered mine, they'll be able to see all of my answers as well. Testing. Oh, okay. Now you guys can hear me. Can you hear me now, everyone? Let me know if that happens again. Did anyone hear what I was talking about with the checklist time? Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to start from the beginning. I'm so sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning of checklist. And again, just let me know, message me if my audio cuts off again. I can try calling it on my cell phone instead. But I will say T-Mobile has been having issues with their cell phone, and so I may drop. So under daily paperwork, I went to checklist dashboard. So there's a couple different things that you need to know. And I'm not going to dive into full checklist or anything. So just please give us a call or watch videos if you have any questions about checklist. So up on the very top, it generates for the current day that you're on. On checklist, we have something called a reoccurring time. And when you set a reoccurring time, basically every single day, that checklist will generate a brand new checklist for you. So you'll be able to see the created date of the checklist change on a daily basis if you change the date range. On the bottom drop-down box, there's a reoccurring template and there's a one-time template. So reoccurring is, let's just say that it's a PM manager checklist on a nightly basis that it generates. But a one-time template may be something, let's just say, for example, if you guys deep clean your restaurant once a month, obviously you guys keep up with with cleaning it up on a daily basis. But if there's a deep cleaning one once a month, then you can go ahead and have that checklist generate one time. All right, under template name, this is where you can search for the template name. So what I was saying about the end and start time is what you have to do if you want to look at a past template or one that does not occur. So let's just say that today is going to be a Tuesday, but I want to look for a specific checklist that only generates on Wednesday. I have to back out the start and end time completely, and then I can search for the checklist right over here. That's the only way to search for past checklist. From there, you'll see the created date for all of these are going to be different. We have an inactive folder and an active folder. Also, if you see any checklist right now that I have pulled up that you'd like for your specific restaurant, let me know and I can copy it over. And then what I'm going to show you is the different scenarios we have in checklists. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click on the checklist and show you the different questions that we have. So you can enter anything from instructions to section titles to a check mark to a yes or no checkbox. We have employee drop-down box, multiple choice questions. You're able to add a free response question as well. We have section titles, short entry, a photo, measurement. So this one's really cool. So let's just say if I double click on this one, the range for my walk-in cooler is 35 to 41 Fahrenheit. And so if someone answers it to be 45, for example, that's automatically going to notify my manager that my walk-in's out of the range. We have section titles. We have ratings 1 through 5, ratings 1 through 10, date range boxes as well. So you have pretty much every option that you need to answer or enter into the checklist itself. A couple other things is on the very bottom of this. We have add, edit icon, but you can clone a checklist. So the reason why you would clone a checklist is if you have two managers, and if you want both of those managers to have their own separate, completely separate checklist, you would have to clone it and then assign it to the specific employees there. We can make it inactive. I can copy it over from one restaurant to the other. I have notification options as well as achievement settings. Achievement settings is going to be if you'd like to make this more so of a game. So if I answer, let's just say 5 of the questions correct, then I can win something or whatever it may be. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and click on reoccurrence just to show you a couple of things that you need to know. So right now I clicked on reoccurrence under a COVID checklist. So for this particular checklist, you can see the days of the week that this generates on is days of the week or days of the month. For this particular one, days of the week. For the specific day, you have a drop-down box and you can select the specific day or all days. For this one, it's all days. For the checklist start time. So that means that this checklist is not going to generate anywhere until it's 8 a.m. and then the deadline is 11:45 p.m. Well, you can still answer the checklist after the deadline, but it will just say that you're late. So just a heads up with that. I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this. Again, that was just a brief overview of the checklist itself. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? Awesome. So there's one more section in the daily paperwork that we need to go over. Then we're going to be going over the checklist app, or what we like to call Smart Shift or Smart Connect app, as well as some other sections in the system. I'd say we're probably going to be done at pretty early today, actually. I'd say about 12. So just a heads up with that, around 12. So the last section is going to be purchase allotment systems. And your purchase allotment system is your budget for ordering each cost of goods sold category. So that being said, something like paper supplies, I'm not going to be able to see a purchase allotment systems in there. Everything that we've gone over in the last couple hours is going to generate on this purchase allotment report. So it's going to be imperative that you go ahead and get everything entered if you have not already, and get that up to date. All right. So my report, it looks like it's just loading. Give it a second. Yours did? Huh, interesting. Because I am hardwired right now. So how far is your restaurant from here? Is it, oh, really? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, wow. I was not expecting that. Okay. I'll have to stop by one of these days.
Well, the newer one will be a lot easier of a drive because it's literally you get off 101.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, that one's a lot.
Same concept, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Just
awesome.
much newer, much bigger.
Uh-huh.
Much more technologically advanced.
Do you know when the opening day is or around?
We wish we knew.
Okay, cool.
So they're waiting for permits. I think the permits are coming because they're starting to get bids.
Uh-huh.
Once the permit's done, then we'll
Awesome.
as soon as possible.
Yeah, no problem. So it's just still loading for me for some reason. Jeff, did yours load, or will you try it?
You just purchase allotment systems, right?
Mm-hmm. Yours loaded all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there it goes. Let's see. I don't know what's taking. So there is a lot of things on this report, but it shouldn't take this long to actually generate. My apologies. It's not generating with the entire screen either. No, it automatically selects it. Yeah, I think it's draft fair. That's the first one. Oh, okay. Yep, it's just loading. One moment, everyone. Yeah, my screen's frozen now. All right, one moment. I'm gonna exit completely. All right, one second. While I'm waiting, does anyone have any questions? All right, I'm going to close out of my browser completely and see if this is going to work. One second. So that's a lot faster. Let's see. All right, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to let you guys go on your last break for today, and then we're going to come back. Hopefully the internet will be back by then and finish this up. Right now it's 10:55 my time. Come back at 10. Let's come back at 10:10, so 15-minute break. What did you say? or sorry, yeah, 11, 10. Yep, exactly. Hopefully it will be loaded by then.
And I literally had this. Yeah, I really wanted to come. I just,
No, I totally
I was
understand.
like, yeah, I'll save this. And it might be a little more appropriate. Yeah.
tell them on this? Hi everyone, it's Brittany. Okay, so we're having some internet issues right now, so it may take longer than 11:10. So just a heads up, please give me some time. I'm so sorry about that. We're resetting our servers. Yeah, mine says load. It got me to this page finally, but now it's just loading. Oh, okay. I'm on the guest one too. All right, in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just talk about some things while you can just listen to me and you can follow along on your actual app itself. So in Restaurant Assistance Pro, we have 2 different apps. Do you guys have them downloaded already? One of them is going to be the Smart Shift app, and one of them is going to be the Smart Connect app. What I would typically do is actually pull up the apps and show you. What I'm going to do instead is, because my internet's not loading, but I'd like to proceed. Oh, we finally got to this page. Awesome. I'm just going to go over the apps first, and then we'll start on the actual purchase limit since it just loaded for us. So the Smart Shift app, this is just going to be a brief overview, but the Smart Shift app, that's more so for your employees. And that's going to be where they request off. They can view their schedule. They can schedule swap. They can message each other. They can watch how to videos as well and all of that good stuff. Your Smart Connect app, that one's going to be strictly for invoice uploading your photo. We have orders in there. We can go ahead and do a checklist in the actual Smart Connect app as well as inventory. So they're 2 completely different apps. Again, one of them is green and one of them is blue. The blue app is for your employees. If you have not already received this, I have an email that I send off to my clients. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the email. All right. If you have not already received this, let your coach know. Ask us on chat, give us a call, or let me know that you need this. But basically what it is going to be for your employees. It's going to be where they can download the Smart Shift and Smart Connect app, as well as all of the videos regarding that app. Also, with that being said, so I will say it is kind of hard to find our app on the actual app store. So what I recommend you do instead is on our main login page for Restaurant Assistance Pro. Let me see if I can pull it up. Awesome. So on this main login page, on the very bottom, what I would do is I would go into my browser on my phone and then go into the login page. On the very bottom, it allows you to download on the App Store or download a Google Play. It redirects you to the actual App Store itself if you're having issues finding it. So just a heads up with that, or you can just click on these links I provided you with. All right. Okay, so is it just that they don't know how to use it, or credentials? Yeah, so you absolutely can. Okay, so basically what her question is, if my employee just doesn't know their login information, how do I, basically I'm not able, or you're not able to as well, to see anyone's password. So what you have to do is reset their login. So you go to employees, under labor systems, and let's just say Abby Anderson. I double click on Abby. From there, there's her username. You can adjust it from here. And then if you don't know the password, you just have to reset it. It's going to be blank when you open it up. So what you have to do is type in, let's just say the standard Abby 1 exclamation point with a capital A. Save that. And then that will actually reset her password for you. And you can reset the username from there as well. So that's all you have to do. Is that what your question was? Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So it's super simple. They can actually log in themselves and do it as long as they have email. And then if they do have an email address, they just click on forget password and they can reset it themselves as well.
As long as the email is set up.
Exactly. Yep. And then along with that, and I know we're not talking about labor systems today, but along with that, make sure they have cell phone number in there, because what you can do is when you're approving a schedule, for example, you can send them a text message letting them know that they can view their schedule. So just a heads up. But I'm going to go back to the purchase allotment systems. That's the very last part of the daily paperwork. And then lastly, we just have training systems and resources to go over. So up on the very top of the select category, I'm going to select food. The beginning date and the end date, that's always going to generate for the current month that we're on, and you're going to leave it as is. Now I'm going to go over all of these different columns. I will say purchase allotment is probably something that I will go over with you a couple times before you fully understand by yourself. Out of every single report in the system, this is the hardest report for people to grasp that I've found. So the first column is going to be the date column. Then we have our day. Then we have our gross sales. Our gross sales are actual gross sales from our end of day report. Those are your total sales for that particular day. We have our actual food. So when we enter our end of day report, we enter a specific number for food. That's the number that generates right over here. Our forecasted food. So let's just say that we put $10,000 for food, but 80.5% of our sales mix goes towards, for this restaurant, goes towards food. So basically the system did the math for you to give you your forecasted food column. We have a food allotment column. So I will say this column tends to confuse people, but just know your food allotment column is going to be basically the system divides your cost of goods sold percentage by your food forecasted sales. As soon as you enter your end of day sales at the end of the night, it's going to be pulling from your actual food. Now, the reason why I like to go ahead and skip over the food allotment is because of the name, people think that is the number that you have to spend. It is not, because it's not counting for your purchases. So on the very right of that, we have our actual spend. That's going to be our invoices and our paid outs. Again, that has to be entered for this to work. Everything that we've gone over in the daily paperwork section feeds into your purchase allotment systems. Obviously, something like the checklist doesn't feed into there, the manager log, but everything else does. So raw food cost percentage, this is just going to be a percentage of your food of your purchases, sorry. And then lastly, this is really the only column that you need to understand fully, which is the estimated order column. This is why I just go ahead and really briefly go over all of the other columns with you. So there's two different ways to go about the purchase allotment. It really depends on your particular restaurant, and I suggest you talk to your actual coach about this and ask them what's going to be best for your particular restaurant. So for example, if you're a restaurant that orders for Monday for Tuesday delivery and Thursday for Friday delivery, but you also get little orders throughout the week. And when I say little, you can see it's $10 here, $10 there, even $100, that's still a small order. Then I would go ahead and look at that delivery day to delivery day. The reason why it's going to be delivery day to delivery day is you still need food sitting on your shelves up until that day. Or the second way that you could look at this, and this is the way that I would look at it if, for example, if I purchase pretty much every single day and my orders every day are over $100 mark, a couple $100 mark. But what I would do instead is if, for example, if you're Monday through Sunday, that's the way I would look at it. So right now we're on the week of the 6/15 up until 6/21. So starting from 6/15, you can see if I scroll down, up until Sunday, I have $3,727 to spend for just food, since that's the category that I'm looking at. Now, that being said, as soon as you enter your actual numbers in your end of day report, instead of the system taking off of forecasted food, it's going to be taking the numbers off of your actual food for this example. When that happens, let's just say that my sales were less for the day. So that means the system's going to actually allot me less money for that particular week because I still have money sitting on my shelves because my sales were lower. If it's the opposite, so if my sales were higher than predicted, then it would allot me more money. So pretty much depending on how much you guys order, this is going to be adjusting every single day. When you see that it's negative, that means that you've already overspent it. And that's all this section is going to be your purchase report. Does anyone have any questions? And like I said, I would recommend that you have your chef look at this on probably a couple different calls with their coach individually until they fully understand this on their own, just to make sure they're utilizing it correctly. Also, on top of this, under the food, beverage, and retail systems, under orders, when you're doing a manual price compare order, you also have the option to view this report there. Any questions on your purchase allotment systems? It's super simple to understand once you do understand it, or get the hang of, rather. All right. So that's the last of the daily paperwork section. Now I'm going to go over a couple other things with you guys. The next section I'm going to show you is going to be resources. So your resources, this is where you can find all of the employee handbooks. You have manuals in here. We have checklists. Pretty much everything that you need for your restaurant is going to be under the resources. If you cannot find a particular report, just let us know and one of us can go ahead and help you find that. For example, if I open up operation forms, I can open that up using the plus sign. And then from there, there's a bunch of different checklists, a manager checklist. We have a checklist template, all of that good stuff for you. Also, all of our documents in here, if it's a manual, for example, it's going to be in a document form. So you can actually just edit it and you can revise it to your restaurant name and everything. So that's all the resource section is. And the next section is going to be training. So your training is going to be training, it's a lesson dashboard. So the easiest way that I can explain this is if you think about food handler's card, for example, if you got your food handler's card online, you probably read an article or you watched a video and then answered some questions after that. That's the same exact thing for the lesson dashboard, but it pertains to your particular restaurant and whatever you'd like in here. So for example, we have a training lesson on how to make a cheeseburger. Again, just like the checklist, I'm not going to go too far in depth of how to actually do all of this stuff, but I'm going to show you the little details within it. We have where you search for the lesson name up on the very top. You can reset it. We have active and inactive. We can redirect lesson assigned to me. So that's how you actually answer it. But I'm going to open up the cheeseburger lesson with you. So within the cheeseburger lesson, there's a couple different things that you need to know. For this particular making a burger, all you have to do is watch a video. And then within that video, after it's been watched, on the very bottom of this, we have a list of questions. Do we toast the bun? It's a single select question. What does a standard burger set consist of, for example? So those are the questions that you can enter in the system. You can pretty much put any questions you'd like into the system. Now, I will say with the lesson dashboard, it does not manually, just like the checklist, it does not manually answer these questions and grade them for you because a lot of the time these questions will be a text box. So you will have to manually go in here and grade them yourselves. To look at past answered checklist, you can go ahead and under assigned to employee, look for an employee. If it's been completed, it will tell you under the status column, and then you just click on the eyeball icon to view their questions and their answers. So that's the lesson dashboard. Again, you can put pretty much anything that you'd like in here. We have a bartender training manual to making bread, to making a perfect bun, to a bookkeeper assessment, for example. Any questions? All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up this report real quick. And there's one more section, so we're going to be ending a little bit early today. There's one more section I'd like to go over. That's going to be RSP analytics and all of this this good stuff right over here. So under RSP analytics, for me, I see 4 of them. For you, because I work here, that's the reason why I see 4 of them. But for you, you'll only be able to see 2 of them. One of them is going to be the summary. What this is going to be a way for you to hold your management team accountable or your employees accountable. So under summary, I can change the date range, click load, and then from there, I'll be able to see every single person and exactly what they've done in the system within the date range that I chose. I'll be able to see up on the very right side, the module. So you can see that 67.71% of our system, of our entire system, food is used for 67.71%. 1.88 is only used for our beverage side of the system. Also, when I click on the little eyeball icon under action, I'm able to see exactly what this employee did, what time, as well as the action right over here. So for example, one time I had someone tell me that they spent 10 hours doing invoices. So I double checked this part of the system and noticed that they were only in there for 10 minutes. Also within that, we also have details. Now your details, it's pretty much the same exact thing, but it's broken down by each section. So under daily paperwork, if I open up on daily paperwork and open up end of day report for whatever date range I chose, you can see all of the employees that were in this section. And then again, when I click under the eyeball icon under action, the only difference is I can't see exactly what he did. Like earlier, I was able to see under the summary that Katrina deleted an invoice. I can't see that under this section, but I could tie it together under both summary and details. Again, on the very right side, we have this pie chart that's going to be able to show you in that daily paperwork section what's being utilized the most for this example, or the labor systems, whatever you're in. And then let's see, lastly, on the very top, again, you're able to search by user and then change the date range, or you can clear the date range or load it using these two icons right over here. And then one of the biggest part of Restaurant Systems Pro, besides the budgets and all of that good stuff, is going to be your budget variance report, your prime cost report on a weekly basis to be able to see your numbers. If you want, you could click on details and actually see what exactly has been done and what needs to be done in order for you to get that BVR report. Also, we have some other things for you guys. These are going to be third parties that we recommend. So for example, loyalty benefits, we have rebates, secret shopping, we have credit card processing, we have text message marketing. If you click on them, it's going to redirect you to this page. So for example, I went ahead and clicked on text message marketing. It redirects you to Sire Mobile. And then you can go ahead and read about it and contact Greg Sauerbeck from our team to get you started. Lastly, we have credit card processing savings. So this is going to be City POS. This is Tom Harris right over here with his family. And they're going to help you lower your credit card percentage. So up on the very bottom, you can go ahead and enter. Looks like you can enter your numbers from last month as well as your merchant statement. Upload that statement, and then Tom will go ahead and respond back to you. So that is the last of what we are going over for our class today. Again, tomorrow, we're going to be going over labor systems. I will say today is the easy day. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is going to be a little bit harder. It's just a lot more information. It's not hard. I thank you guys so much for joining today's class, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Awesome. So that was super early.